I'm out here on the farm, 3oaks1.com, natural healer. I'm studying that, natural healing techniques, shaman, witch healer. They qualified as a witch, and I'm sure the practices qualify when you look at principles of magic. I'm studying that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do articles and blogs, and I'm writing one now. But I'm going to share videos too, and I have thoughts, and a good way to share those thoughts and serve the Lord to speak. And I know religion is offensive to a lot of people, but you kind of gotta bear with somebody, because every now and then somebody's going to make good sense that's religious. I have religion, however, I have quarrels with the clergy, the way that the governance of these world religions are. And I'm watching what I believe that's going on. Don't you assess things like, I see this and I feel this, but I know this. So this is what it looks like is going on, but what's really going on? Well, I'm on that page. So as I go through and light comes through on the matter of what's really going on, I had a revelation, and here's some of the thought behind it, because I haven't organized it into a blog. I'm doing it right now off the hip. I had the revelation dawned on me, and this is the best way I can get it to the ground for you. The rest is at 3oaks1.com. That's one numeral after 3oaks.com. So what came to me is this concept, and it's beyond theory. It's hypothetical. So hypothetically, when I listen to all these revelational experiences that others have and stuff, and some are in these Arcturians and these UFO organizations, religions, if you call them that, and they talk about how the aliens genetically designed humans, and that God was involved in it. The one we're calling God through the Christian church, at least, was involved in the genetic design and made men. Some will say, and he made men that he would slave them, and that God was really evil. And then they've got where Jesus said an evil demiurge created all the profound world, and I learned that in college. It's documented that scholars found him saying that an evil demiurge created all the profound world. So when I look at that, here's the concept, and you're going to want to say, why do I bother listening to this guy? Well, look at this concept, and I'll pick it apart and do a more official blog if it becomes important to me, and then it probably will, but we'll see as I go along. I'm studying these magic arts and things. So when I combine like magic, mysterious forces, we'll just go with that, unseen forces. And when I look at those people in those UFO clubs talking about these genetics and things that the aliens had involved in man being created, and different things that light has been shown supposedly to these individuals, and you don't know that, just like what I'm sharing, you don't know that, so you just got to listen. So here's what I conceived, and it just kind of crystallized in my mind, the thoughts involved in it. I said, these Mennonites, they're like Amish people, Mennonites here where I'm at, and they have some old, it's like witch and sticks are used to find a well. They do that too. They use welding rods or pick up a forked branch off a tree, and they can hold it and find water on your property. Well, there's this thing they use to keep flies out of your house, and you've probably not ever seen it. You might have a Ziploc bag full of water, and they tape it 3/4 of the way up the doorway or something, right in the front of it, right facing the outside. And the flies, the mystery involved is something to do with the flies come up, and while he's looking for a way into place, he looks into that, and it boggles his mind, because he's got them eyes like an insect, and he looks at that water, and whatever that water does to his mind, because of the many eyes that he has, like the insect eye, it mysteriously drives him away from the front of that house, and he doesn't come in. So in that mystery, I found compare. And I said, this sphere of existence, planet Earth, the atmosphere, and electromagnetic. I did geology in college. I'm not ignorant. I'm working on a bachelor's. I got gypped from college problems, but I'm working on a bachelor's. And when you look at the water element and how human bodies are made up mostly of water, and you look at how there is water in, they said like what written stuff they've got claims that God said, let there be earth and firmament, let there be waters separating the firmaments and stuff like that. Okay. When you look at those elements and you look at the waters and you look at how this place is different than outer space, at least is what we've investigated, and how much water is here in the earthen sphere of existence. When you look at that and you put electromagnetic, which is proven by science that there's electromagnetic force that goes on that Earth creates, and its atmosphere, there's like a seal that goes around that's created by that electromagnetic force. Well, the concept that crystallized for me somewhat was that the electricity, the electromagnetic energy. And then there's that comparison that they found that 1 square yard of empty space, quantum physics, has enough energy to boil all the Earth's oceans. So when you look at that amount of energy per square yard and you look at the water content of the human body and in this sphere of existence compared to what they found in any water. I don't know of water they found on the moon or Mars or anywhere like that. I don't know of water. They might have, excuse me if I haven't found that out, but here there's plenty of water. Well, you take electromagnetic energy, add the magnetic, and compare it back to that fly trap thing I was talking about where the water boggles the mind of the fly. Probably, it's my best estimation, looking at the physical evidence, that water is kind of like in comparison to what we're in. There's enough water when you talk about what surrounds us and what our bodies are mostly composed of, water. If you'll take that amount of electromagnetic force or energy that could boil every ocean on the planet, 1 square yard of empty space, if you'll take that power and plug it in to this sphere of existence and all the water-based, parts of creation, and how that water conducts that electromagnetic force. Some comparison goes to what I keyed off of was how I feel in that type of energy with this amount of water, both in the air, in the oceans, in the rain, in our bodies, in the animals, trees. Everything's got this water, but I feel like that fly where his mind just gets boggled because this energy is in you and in those plants and in that water, and this energy dwells throughout, really conducted, at least increased by water. At least if electromagnetic should compare out. I don't have equipment for all that. To be able to plug in to this water that conducts it, and just think of that amount of force conducting through the water element and how it's in everything. Well, from there, compare it to the alien findings and the UFO face and thing, and how, here's the complexity. What did they do to make this sphere of existence? I mean, what could you do with water element and electricity and anything that you could compare to the boggled mind of that that fly looking at that Ziploc bag full of water? Compare your mind in this Ziploc sphere of existence of water. how much does even your brain, your thoughts, everything get affected by that electromagnetic, and what created and affects this electromagnetic conducting planet amidst the others that doesn't do the same thing? How much went into it as far as the wormholes in space? Like if we go through that wormhole in space and we wind up in that universe, not in our universe, out of our galaxy. What other, they talk about 3 heavens, they talk about 7 heavens, Shambhala, Jhana, Jesus' heaven, 3 heavens, 7 heavens. The guy Rael of Rael Movement, 80,000 strong, last I checked, members, was taken into outer space, said where he went, 25,000 years in advance was his estimation. I assume it was an estimation. Advanced technology, 25,000 years ahead of us. What could people or beings do in a different galaxy or universe to bring forth this type of a sphere of existence, creating that electromagnetic response with the other and reacting through the water and the other elements, the earth and the fire element, the water, the air, those things interacting, those elements, just like in magic, you need those combinations in the perfect balance. I look at it like those rods that you let that ball go down and you got to get the knack for it in the swing of things. And literally there's a swing of things. You got to take that ball, that silver ball, and roll it down those 2 rods and get it in the hole. Out of 4 or 5 holes, pick which one for points or whatever. Kind of like that doing magic. You got to have this amount of fire. You got to have this amount of water. You got to have this amount of earthen. But then there's a scientific level when you can just take elements and do a chemistry set. And what did these aliens line up as far as alignment with their spirituality, their magic, because of the divine's relationship with not only them but the rest of creation? Did they find a unifying point between their desires, the needs of creation, combining of these elements, or did they jump ahead for their own sake and, like the above and below and within and without, make a mistake and try to get ahead and make slaves out of humans, and the spirit make provision, just like we get resisted by the flesh? Like when it's on your mind to get this fire to burn, there's nothing in hell and creation you can do to get this fire to burn. Nothing you can do. Recycle material, wind blew that way, here comes the rain. It's just, so do you think they're empowered over us, or do you think they were given temptation and decided to enslave because they were given the capabilities to create such an electromagnetic splendor that life and the likeness of life to us now Jesus supposedly said, I have no way of proving that, and that's where I stand on these organized religions. I don't know that, and you don't know that, but we can just in our hearts explore and be tricked, like taking a bite of a pear and then smelling a pear and then biting an apple and tasting pear because your mind, your senses got tricked. So, all illusion. If Jesus did say that, we can believe it long enough to explore the thought. Then how much does illusion, I'm going to conclude, compare with what I just described? An illusion created in a sphere of existence with electromagnetic energy and the type of elements, fire and earth and water and air, and an alignment like a shaman magic through them and their experience and their alignment of their own souls and their spirituality, that they might be blessed, because it doesn't unfold the way you think. Like the Native Americans, the things going on in the realm of spirit usually manifest somehow, but not always the way you think. Got it lined up enough that their practices, the spirituality, the necessities, etc., lined up with the Spirit's own will, and a demiurge, an evil demiurge, created it. He brought it forth. Maybe he added physical efforts to an alignment of spirituality. Maybe that's a fact when that planet goes past, a planet of the gods. You have to look that up. I didn't study that deeply. There's supposedly the gods that dwell on a planet that once in a while comes close to Earth. Maybe they tractor beamed or something and pulled something and aligned something. We got to get that and got to get that. Just like man gets given and shown instructions to come up with something. And here we are. Like that fly with a boggled mind, in an electromagnetic creation with water. Are they empowered over us? I don't think so, and here's why. The blood. The importance of the blood of Christ, and I don't think, because he supposedly said this, that God already loves you and I don't have to die to save you. And over in Islam, which Isa is Jesus, and in Islam and his completely different prophecies that he don't live 2,000 years, that faith, you just ask God and mean sincerely that you don't plan on doing that anymore, and he forgives you. That sounds in agreement with Jesus not needing to die to save you. God already loves you. So his blood, probably more of a blood sacrifice to the spirit of divinity, the divine spirit. And that's why I don't think that them aliens, even though they might have a whole lot of power when it comes to electromagnetic force and the understandings of magic and different levels, technical understandings of it, and lining things up, but I don't think they can stop what Christ did, that type of blood sacrifice. And see me at 3oaks1.com for more. I'm going to write blogs for you, more detailed, I hope, later.